Hiya, Manchester United's last pre-season game has been played against Fiorentina at Old Trafford. I'm working flat out all weekend on United We Stand. This is what it's going to look like. That's the cover of the next issue. Couple of final tweaks for that, and then it goes on sale against Arsenal next week. Come and say hello. And loads of you have ordered subscriptions, so if you want to order one, see the link below. We'll post you all 10 issues of this season. The first one will be posted on Friday. We ship around the world. We've had more orders than we've ever had before. Before I get back into the regular practice of heat pumps and match ratings, I'll do more of a summation of the game against Fiorentina and a little look at where Manchester United are in the transfer market at the moment. So the game, I think it was a good test against a team who finished 6th in Serie A last season. Beautiful kit. Fiorentina have always had them. Decent away following as well, 500 or 600. They've always had a very vocal support, Fiorentina. And they were a disciplined, well-organised and physical side. So that's exactly what you want if you're Manchester United. Ruben Amorim said after the game, difficult, there's a lack of fluidity. Perfect game for preparation to show where we have to improve. And I think that is fair. He also said the team needed a reference, a striker. So before the game, the new signings were shown to a huge crowd, 65,103 for a pre-season friendly. That is incredible. The numbers are absolutely incredible there. That is more than any of the games in the United States where the stadiums had bigger capacities but weren't all full. Actually, saying that, Chicago's only 62,000, but you get what I'm saying. Atlanta and New York were bigger. So Sesko, I think that signing, which was confirmed on Saturday, I think that's been met with great enthusiasm by all Manchester United fans. Someone who, as I've discussed and written about, if you read United We Stand, you would have been reading his name for a long, long time. And yeah, delighted because the team needs goals. The team needs a number 9. And will there be any more incomings? I'll come to that. So United now have a full week of training and then 2 days working on strategy ahead of that Arsenal game, but can do so full in the knowledge that Manchester United are the reigning Snapdragon Cup holders, and that carries real gravitas in world football, especially combined with the, just let me check my notes, I've got them here, how could I possibly forget? The Defining Education Challenge Cup, which was lifted in Hong Kong in May, and the Premier League Summer Series, of which Manchester United were the winners. I'm not seeing a parade down Deansgate confirmed yet, but if there is one, let's get on it. David De Gea came back to Old Trafford. He played 554 times, so just about a top 10 appearance. And had it worked out slightly differently, I think he would have stayed. So I remember speaking to someone at Tottenham away in the April, 2 months before he left, and said, can you give me some guidance on what David's doing? He said, he's going to stay. So there's a feeling that David De Gea was going to stay, and he didn't stay. And that's partly because Erik ten Hag wanted a new goalkeeper, and Andre Onana came in. Would you swap De Gea for Onana right now? I think most Manchester United fans would say yes, because Onana's been underwhelming. And David De Gea was often overwhelming. Multiple player of the year, never shy asking for a huge contract, and that could irk Manchester United at times. And yet he did want to go to Madrid. That was 10 years ago. That was the summer where the De Gea speculation just went all right throughout 15. I remember where I was, remember the calls I was getting, remember people in Madrid saying, he's coming, we want him, we come in. And then there's the story that dodgy fax machine, and did Real Madrid really want him when push came to the shove right at the end? So from the game today against Fiorentina, I think it's clear that United need more in attack, and United defence actually looked a bit ropey. So Fiorentina went ahead after 16 minutes, a finish into the bottom corner from Simon Chon. 2 Fiorentina La Viola players were completely unmarked at the back post as the United players rushed towards the first post. That happened, worrying them out in the game, actually. So you need to be ironing out those mistakes before the league starts next week. I'll pick out a couple of players. Leny Yoro, really liking him. playing well, came close to scoring, although Gosens got given the Manchester United goal. Yoro got forward, he gets his head on the crosses. He was alert against Moises Keane, so good test against him. The ball smashed into his face at one point. Harry Maguire strode through and shot on target after 67. The ball sort of waves a little bit. I remember speaking a year ago to someone who kicks those balls for a living at Manchester United, and he talked about the difference between the different balls. And I'm like, I didn't know this. Significant difference. Fortunately or unfortunately, there's one less ball to worry about this year because Manchester United are not in Europe. Casemiro won the ball back beautifully after half an hour, turning defence into attack. That's what we want him to do. A few nice balls forward. And there's one point where he's telling Mason Mount to calm down. Mount never stopped running, impressive, pressing. Tough game for him as well, but he's intelligent, his work rate's good. Nice interchanges with Dorgu. And they would absolutely be interested in Mason Mount, but Ruben Amorim really likes him. So I can't see where he's going to be starting, but I do think he'll get a fair chance. Bruno Fernandes, lovely ball for the opening goal. He was set up for the second after it was actually Mount who started to move, and Bruno shot towards where he thought the new stadium would be if a new stadium is ever built, which is about a third of a mile, quarter of a mile away. He moved up in position when Mount went off, and the game went to penalties. Bruno is such a good penalty taker every time, really, really good. Brian Umbumo, some lovely crosses, showed good pace. Cunha touches, another new signing. He appealed for a penalty just before half time. It needs to come together more. He was struck wide after 60 minutes and he rolled a penalty in. So can't just click a button and expect the new signings to gel. Remember Cole and York, it was Southampton away at the end of September. And we're now at the start of August, so it's going to take time. And that was in a far better team. Ahmad, probably not his best game. Some poor decision making, closely marked as well. I'm just not over convinced that this wing back is for him. Lovely ball to Heaven on 64 and an outrageous Panenka for a penalty. Garty came on, Shaw came on, Man Utd came on. I know I've missed a couple off there. So transfers. So my name went pretty viral today with quotes about Baleba and his agent. Literally stuff I've never said. And unfortunately with my job, you get used to seeing your words twisted or taken out of context. It's frustrating. There's not a lot that you can do. Just trust sources who you trust. Often aggregator accounts do not take a fair representation of what me or some other journalists write or say. I absolutely did not say that Baleba's agent will happily take a commission. I've never said anything like that. So it's weird. So I will give you some context for Baleba. Yeah, United are absolutely interested in him. The player would absolutely be interested in a move, but it's very difficult to see how it gets done at the moment. United won't want to kill it off because they want the player, but the finances at the moment are just really difficult. Getting Sesko done was a pleasant surprise, because if you'd asked me 5 weeks ago, could United go out and buy 3 players, I would have said no. But then in Chicago last week, we spoke to people from the club and we were given some reasons as to why, including, Marcus Rashford's wages. I'm going to watch Rashford actually on Sunday, getting off the book, and some sell-on fees from players who've gone on. So you would need some serious money to come in before Manchester United can go out and spend. From Brighton, a Brighton who don't need to sell the player, are not shy when it comes to asking for huge funds for some of their players. And I just think that's pretty difficult. You'd need the player to agitate. You'd need a huge compromise from the numbers coming out of Brighton. So I just wouldn't want people to get their hopes up too much. But then again, 3 weeks ago, I would have said Sesko was entirely dependent on players being sold. So players can still get sold. I still think we're going to have some could have some pretty significant movement in the transfer market for a number of reasons. Some players are surplus to requirements at Old Trafford. You've got the bomb squad, which we've discussed several times. Pretty telling that Rasmus Højlund wasn't playing against Fiorentina. I think if United got a good offer for him now, they would sell Højlund. And slightly conflicting feelings about that, because I think it's a shame. He's still very young, but he also played an underwhelming part for an underwhelming team last season. So let's see what happens. I think you're going to get loan offers in for players, and Manchester United will negotiate. There's basically 4 people who are party to this from the Manchester United side, including the negotiator. And yeah, let's see what's going to happen. I'd be surprised if any new players came in before Arsenal next Sunday. So I'm going to get United We Stand done. We'll sell outside the ground at Arsenal, at Fulham away, at Burnley, and there may even be an EFL Cup game, and that may even be at Old Trafford. Well, there's going to be an EFL Cup game in August, but it may even be at Old Trafford. So let us fully catch up on our sleep from America and get the magazine done. The deadline to subscribe for the next 10 issues is Tuesday. If a postal printed issue is not for you, like that sort of one behind me, one of them. So this is what it looks like. Then you might want a digital one, which you can read on your... That's the sort of stuff that we do. A lot of work goes into it. A lot of stuff you simply will not see on the web. And some brilliant writing, and some good pictures as well. I've done it for a long, long time. Anyway, you know who we are and what we do. I'll leave you to it. Take care, and I'll be back talking about heat pumps after Arsenal next week. Bye-bye.